Money is a sensitive topic when it comes to job search, isn't it? Here, I'm going to show you a few ways you can use your awesome research skills to figure out what a job actually pays. Oh, and I'm going to give you some insight on how employers actually assign dollar values to roles in their companies. My name's Shauna Cole, and this is Career Interrupted. Okay, when it comes to job searching and setting your career goals, money is absolutely part of the conversation, but at times it can become and feel pretty taboo and icky. You're like, I don't know if I should say this. Is this rude? Am I making someone uncomfortable? Should I ask about money in the interview? You have so many questions about how money is managed when it comes to the question of your potential future salary. So I want to share with you today, first key thing is about how companies typically assign a salary to a position. So in large organizations, roles are typically grouped with like roles. And they typically will have a consistent compensation structure across the company. There's always going to be exceptions and caveats, but rule of thumb, generically, like roles go with like roles, and they're grouped together in a common job family. So think of a job family as like a cluster. So an example of a job family would be like a professional role. So you'd have positions like accountants and marketing and HR people could be a cluster in a professional job family. And then from there, a company would take and rank various levels within that job family and assign salaries. So as an example, you'd probably have an entry-level accountant, a mid-level accountant, and a senior-level accountant. Each progression, each level inside of that job family will have an assigned dollar value. As a job seeker, you should totally care about this, because the level and position is going to give you an idea of the salary that's going to be ranked with that job. So large organizations probably also have some sort of philosophy that they follow organizationally around compensation and benefits, for that matter. Not every employer is going to want to be the top tier, top payer in their industry for a variety of different reasons, considering the competitiveness of the recruitment market, but as well as considering like their own company values and where they want to stand on compensation. So it's important to know that you're working within an established system and structure when it comes to the point of salary negotiation. It's important also to know that you're working in this system and structure for the purposes of your own research. If you're trying to figure out what a job is going to pay, it's important to know that although you might find online that an accountant earns $100,000 a year, take a step back and say, what do you think? Is that a senior level accountant or someone coming out of school, as an example? Here are 3 tools that you can use to conduct your own market research. I hope that you'll use my tips and that broader understanding of how companies work when it comes to compensation structure as you go through this exercise. So there are a ton of resources online, like salary.com, at monster.com, Indeed. All these websites have information on salaries. So you can look up a position of your choice and see what that role pays. Now, to my point earlier, not all companies share the same compensation philosophy. So you don't expect for the salary to be the exact same for the same position across different companies. There are several inputs, several pieces of data that can drive differences. The first being, of course, the company's overall compensation philosophy. A market can drive salaries up or down, shortages or surpluses of certain skill sets. So I think that these salary databases are absolutely an awesome place to start to do your research. But just because you look up a salary that says an entry-level marketing coordinator makes $40,000, just because you see that on the website, don't expect every job that you apply for as a marketing coordinator to pay the exact same rate. The whole thing is much too complicated. There are too many inputs to consider. So use that as a reference point. Use that as a reasonable reference point, but consider the fact that the salary might be a little higher or it might be a little lower, depending on a variety of factors. I'll link to some of those websites in the video description so you can check those out. So the salaries of some jobs are actually a matter of public record in some areas. So in Canada, as an example, a lot of public servant salaries are posted. And a lot of the information that you can find online is actually pretty detailed, right down to the exact job title or even the person who owns the role. Yes, you can find legit some people's salaries posted on the internet. So do some Googling around this. Whatever the public sector position is that you're interested in, start running your searches and research like crazy. You might just find the exact salary you're looking for posted online. If you're curious about what a certain field pays, you can ask what the field pays by approaching someone who's got experience in a given area. You want to do this in like a super careful and polite kind of way. Really inappropriate to say, hey, what do you make? That's not the approach that we want to take with this. But consider this situation. Informational interviews are a really, really great tactic to get to know people in our network and gather information about the field we're interested to work in. Informational interviews means setting up a meeting with a key contact, learning about them, their position, and the role. And in an informational interview, you might ask questions like, how did you get started in this field? What's your education background? What do you like about this job? So you might want to insert a question like this. Can you help me understand what the compensation might look like for an entry type role in this company? That would be a polite way to ask what the job pays without maybe overtly saying to this person, hey, what do you make or what did you make? So consider asking questions about salary and overall compensation if you're going through an informational interview process, which is a really good thing to do. And to clarify, an informational interview is an interview that you initiate with someone in your professional network for the purposes to learn more about them, their career, and your desired career path. And it helps you become a better equipped and more knowledgeable job seeker. When it comes to questions of salary, I'd encourage you to think about it more like in the big picture. Salary is totally an important part of your overall compensation package, right? You want to make good, fair money, but consider as well other components of compensation that aren't so obvious too. You might want to read up on things like company bonus structures, kind of get an idea of what's going on in your industry for benefits, or what other types of perks you might be able to expect from companies. Many organizations have compensation structures that extend beyond the base salary piece. They have compensation structures that include health and dental benefits, RRSP plans, pension plans, health and wellness plans, and reimbursements that go on and on and on. And typically those things align with the company values. So when you're doing your salary research, I'd encourage you to widen your scope and look a little bit bigger. Get an understanding of what's sort of going on overall beyond the base salary. What else do companies typically offer in your desired field that go beyond base salary to include some of these other elements that I've mentioned? Well, I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you're gonna go and do your research and find out what that dream gig of yours pays. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, make change work.